ലൈംഗികതയും പ്രത്യുൽപാദനപരമായ ആരോഗ്യവും അവകാശങ്ങളും എന്ന വിഷയത്തിൽ സംഘടിപ്പിച്ച ചർച്ച ശ്രദ്ധേയമായി. തിരുവനന്തപുരം മാർ ഗ്രിഗോറിയസ് കോളേജ് ഓഫ് ലോ കോളേജിൽ നടന്ന ചർച്ച YWCAയുടെ നേതൃത്വത്തിലാണ് സംഘടിപ്പിച്ചത്.
First and foremost, I extend heartfelt gratitude to the college authorities for providing us with an invaluable opportunity to conduct the advocacy program on sexual and reproductive health and rights for women. Your support is instrumental in fostering an environment where important conversations can take place. I want to express our sincere appreciation for that.
The sexual and reproductive rights, and as the prospective lawyers, you all must study well about the rights of citizens regarding sexual and reproductive rights. Nowadays, sexual harassment is increasing very much, so you all must be very cautious and careful regarding the rights.
രണ്ടുപേരടങ്ങിയ വിദ്യാർത്ഥികളുടെ 9 ടീമുകളാണ് സംവാദത്തിൽ പങ്കെടുത്തത്.
We are having a patriarchy. So in this a movie is there. It is Chatriwali of Rakul Preaching and all. In that scene, in that movie, there is a character. She is not using. She used to have these medications inside her or sterilizations instead of her husband using these condoms and all. So that can be a very huge impact. That can create a huge impact on her health as well as her vagina. The region, the vagina, it is more important for a woman. It's considered to be the most precious organ of the female body. So it can also create certain limitations and all.
So it could be a rape. It could be through any. It could not. It need not be through rape. It could be through marital rape. It could be due to certain past traumas. And these traumas and these violations have caused women to feel suffocated, and the stigma surrounded around abortions and stigma surrounded around a lot of topics, as my fellow teams had mentioned earlier, regarding it is the body of the woman that she should be able to accept herself first, to be able to nurture and bring a life into the world.
Dealing with this topic, we have sexual and reproductive health and rights. What is reproductive health? It is according to WHO, the World Health Organization. It is the total well-being of all the reproductive aspects of a woman. While coming to the reproductive aspect of a woman, and now we have sexual and reproductive rights. So we have fundamental right. But do a woman in India have reproductive right? Yes, obviously. Adhering to the Indian Constitution, which is most honored, in Article 21, Article 14, and in the Puttaswamy case, it is rightly said that under right to privacy, a woman have the right to choose the reproductive decision. The baby can have a better life than ours. Now there's a famous story, a 17-year-old girl, a 17-year-old teenager, she got pregnant. She had the right to abort the child, but she chose to keep the child. Today she does not regret that decision because that child is now a famous Canadian singer called Justin Bieber. Abortion should not be legalized for several reasons. Firstly, it promotes a culture where life is easily disposable. You are not giving any value to life. Secondly, it will have an increase in abortion performed, potential for complication, and put a woman's health to risk. Thirdly, it's ethically and morally wrong. Moreover, I think only human beings are the only living beings on earth that would kill a child intentionally. I'm saying rape victims and sexual abuse victims should be made an exception to this. But otherwise, abortion should not be encouraged.
The woman's consent are not a mandatory aspect in many of the families, or is that not the case? So when a woman wants to do it, or a woman doesn't want to have a child or to bear a child, or doesn't have the cost or finance, because there's a huge amount of finance that goes into it to bear a child, to bring them up, to bring the child to a certain level in the society. That commitment is upon the onus on the mother after she after a girl child or a boy child is born. So abortion should be mandatory because these type of unconsented form of what to say relationship that she doesn't want should be avoided. So
After hearing the debates from all my fellow contestants, I was able to frame 3 main questions, and luckily enough, I had the answers for all of them. So, one of the main questions and concern people were raising is the right of the unborn baby. So, recently I happened to watch a video where a rape victim was being, insulted in public for choosing abortion. So let's just say an 8-week baby, which is called as fetus, was the main discussion. They said this fetus had life. So scientifically speaking, a fetus, a 8-week-old fetus doesn't have a life. And then their arguments change. It moves, it grows. So a literal definition of an 8-week-old fetus is it's a clump of cells. So something related to a clump of cells, a cancer cell is a clump of cell which is dangerous to our life, and many patients remove it through chemo. So if you are going to a cancer patient and saying it's a clump of cells, it's growing, it's moving, it has life, you should not remove it, you will probably get slapped in your face. So why a woman whose life is being endangered because she have immense trauma in her life and going to not want to get child be considered a murder? One of the point. Next, father also has the right. One of the phenomena we overlook as when a girl go through motherhood is postpartum depression. The suicide rate of postpartum depression is 20%. Does a father go through postpartum depression? No, absolutely not. They have privileges.
Speaker 1 of Team D pointed out that maternal mortality rates are rather alarming. However, instead of focusing on the absolute destruction of unborn life, one can focus on providing adequate psychological and physical prenatal health care during and after pregnancy. Lives that are not aborted but are unwanted can be given up for adoption, thus becoming a source of happiness for the adoptive parents. Abortion is an equally traumatic experience, so instead of adding trauma in the case of traumatic conceivement, one can avail psychological treatment to cope with it.
മത്സരത്തിൽ വിദ്യാർത്ഥികൾക്ക് അഭിപ്രായങ്ങൾ പ്രകടിപ്പിക്കാനുള്ള വേദി ഒരുക്കുന്നതിനോടൊപ്പം നിർണായക വിഷയങ്ങളിൽ വാദിക്കാനുള്ള യുവതലമുറയുടെ പ്രതിബദ്ധത ഉയർത്തിക്കാട്ടാനും സാധിച്ചു.
Men does not go into the labor room and all the other factors. But the men also, as I said, throughout the 9 months of a pregnancy, it's not as a mother, not as a child that's being made. It's also a father. Okay, every new father has his own struggles. Your question itself is a statement that the struggles of a father is completely neglected to a point. After the baby is born, if a baby is being aborted without the consent of a father, a father would have, don't you think a father also would have fantasized in his mind of holding his newborn son? A mother already has a connection with the baby through his womb. The father also would like or would hope to have a connection with his own baby. Won't it be there? Through the abortion being a right just between a woman and a doctor, a man has basically a right, or a right of a man is being taken away, completely being neglected. That is what I said through my speech.
The rights. Men are dominating in the society, that women are not. Because in the case, the men are marrying a woman and bringing to the household, and she is giving with the men are saying that you should do the household work and take care of the child, and it is a duty of a woman to take care of their child and looking after all the things about the child, or feeding them, or giving food, and she should have to pass through the situation of postpartum. Whether the man is doing caring of the woman,
What rights does women not have that men have? I believe that there are as of this articles and all the laws provided, men and women are considered equal in the society. But at the same time, there's something called a glass ceiling that restricts women from doing a lot of things which they are potential to. A simple question I would like to ask you is, How many women prime ministers do you know in our country? How many women governors do you know in our country? How many women chief ministers do you know in India?
I didn't know that the crowd had a master in horoscope and astrology who could predict a fetus to be a future Hitler or a future Justin. Which such astrologer is there in the community? I would like to consult that astrologer at the time I conceive a baby to know what my baby would be. Second, there were questions here about women prime ministers and women chief ministers. Can I tell you something? Men and women are treated equally is what the entire crowd say. Have you heard of men reservation bill? Has the crowd heard of men reservation bill? Have you heard of a men's commission in India speaking for men's rights? Okay. Now, let me complete my point by saying that women reservation bill and women's commission was to upbring women. That doesn't mean that women doesn't have rights. Right? Men were the one who have dominance in the governing society, dominance in many other prominent areas. In order to bring the women also up to the society was what for we had a reservation bill and was what for we had a commission.
Not in the same level. That's why some people, part of the society, they need upbringing. So that means inequality. I guess what you meant was there is inequality, right?
Oh, yes.
So how can you say it's not? They are equal. There is still a women's commission and a women reservation bill.
I would like to test the vigilance of team speaker when I clearly imparted the statement that there is no equality, that's why we have a commission to bring in equality. Doesn't mean that women didn't have rights. Women had rights. We had to make it clearer that women had rights. And for that we had a commission. Now just when the commission initiated and just when the commission started to work, just when the reservation bill started to act in power, you're saying that why should there be a reservation bill? My fellow mates, give patience so that India can develop into a nation where both the genders are treated equally. Which also I would like to state and conclude by saying that men and women by rights are equally. Can you say that by physique are they equal? No. All the capabilities of women are equal to men? No. So when you speak about equality, I would clearly like to highlight and emphasize the fact that equality should be brought in a clearer and more concise manner rather than not emphasizing each and everything that men does should be also done by women. Thank you.
തിരുവനന്തപുരം ബാർ അസോസിയേഷൻ പ്രസിഡന്റ് അഡ്വക്കേറ്റ് എസ് ബാലു ആനേറ ഉദ്ഘാടനം ചെയ്ത പരിപാടിയിൽ ബാർ അസോസിയേഷൻ മുൻ സെക്രട്ടറി പാച്ചലൂർ ജയകൃഷ്ണൻ, കോളേജ് പ്രിൻസിപ്പൽ ഡോക്ടർ ജോൺ എന്നിവർ പങ്കെടുത്തു. YWCA പ്രസിഡന്റ് റീന തോമസ്, YWCA യൂത്ത് ചെയർപേഴ്സൺ അഞ്ജലി മേരി ജോസഫ് എന്നിവരും പരിപാടിക്ക് നേതൃത്വം നൽകി. അഡ്വക്കേറ്റ് മായാവി, തിരുവനന്തപുരം കേരള ലോ അക്കാദമി ലോ കോളേജിലെ അസിസ്റ്റന്റ് പ്രൊഫസർ സെറിൻ എൽസ ജോൺ എന്നിവരടങ്ങുന്ന ജഡ്ജിംഗ് പാനൽ മത്സരത്തിന് ആഴം കൂട്ടി.
I would also like to share my views on it. But in fact, if you look at sexual and reproductive rights, these rights refer to access to safe services, information and autonomy in decision making. When you had discussed a lot of topics with respect to sexual and reproductive rights, you should, in fact, it comes within this wide fold of human rights. The right to dignity, the right to life, the right to privacy, but also beyond that, it also refers to right to education, right against discrimination, right against torture. Like for example, female genital mutilation comes within this purview of sexual and reproductive rights, which was, I think, a lot of you were silent on. But okay, no matter. But as students of law, you're all in fact exposed to a number of international instruments in this aspect. For example, somebody cited the CEDAW, very good, Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, or the CECSR, which is the Committee on Social and Economic Rights, Economic, Social and Cultural Rights, which all bring within its purview this concept of sexual and reproductive health and rights to women. And moreover, since you are all concentrated on this topic of abortion, like most of our discussions went in the direction of abortion, you would have all heard, or most of you would have heard the decision or known about the decision in Roe vs. Wade. One of the participants actually pointed out Roe vs. Wade because it was one of the most significant decisions with respect to abortion, right? The US Supreme Court in 1973 said or laid out that a right to abortion is a fundamental right to privacy. So this was a widely discussed decision worldwide in the jurisprudence of the sexual and reproductive health and rights. But what I would like to bring your attention to is in another case. Of course, you know Roe versus Wade was overturned in as recently as June 2022, when it was held that right to abortion should be abolished. There's something which goes against the nation's spirit. Like some of you argue, abortion is something which goes against the nation's spirit and not the cultural, it does not express the cultural identity of the nation.
Of each and every participants. And but one thing I would like to point here is that in your future competitions, when you are participating in future competitions, one thing you all should keep in mind is to stick to the topic, because you have only 2 minutes to present your arguments, right? So it will go like this, 2 minutes. In that particular time, you should present your best. So you should be precise and concise. You should stick to the topic to the maximum. So I was wondering whether today's topic was about legality of abortion. As legal students, you all know about the sexual rights of women, right? Many of the participants were mentioning about the rights of men too. Okay, but we were mentioning about the rights of women, and that too sexual rights. I would have been happier if any of the participants would have mentioned about the rights of a married woman. Not about conceiving or anything, abortion or anything like that. What about marital rape? That too comes within this purview, right? Sexual rights. Nowadays, we can go through many of the decisions. There are of decisions regarding marital rapes and rights of prostitutes. That too. I didn't find anybody mentioning about such rights. You, all the participants, were mentioning about abortion law.
സംവാദ മത്സരത്തിൽ നിമിഷ എസ് നായരും ഗായത്രി ആർ പിള്ളയും 1ാം സ്ഥാനം നേടി.
Performed well, and a big congratulations to every team. As the judges said, the feedback, please call your next program like this. Stick to the topic. Should be very relevant, and since they gave you 2 minutes, so everything should be within that. So plan it out and program it accordingly. So don't waste your time. First of all, I thought all of you were introducing the GPS. That also wasted time. Just start with the topic what is given, and then you get your time to for the topic.
ഏറ്റവും പുതിയ വാർത്തകളും വിശേഷങ്ങളും വിരൽ തുമ്പിലറിയാൻ സീ മലയാളം ന്യൂസ് എല്ലാ ഡിജിറ്റൽ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോമുകളിലും ലഭ്യം.